I need every born again believer in Jesus Christ to pay attention to what you're about to see. I'm about to show you this video with Shawn Ryan, who is a former United States Navy SEAL. This man is currently being threatened for defamation because he is speaking on the predatory behavior that's happening in Christian camps, specifically um, I forgot the name of the camp, but he's going to talk about it, Kohan or something like that. This is why we need to pay attention in our own local assemblies and organizations. I personally am not for overnight anything when it comes to kids, um, overnight camps. I just don't trust it. Um, so listen to what he is about to tell us about his current threat for speaking against predatory behavior and predators who SA kids in these overnight Christian camps.
I need to talk to you about something serious. Last week, I received a demand letter from lawyers representing Kanakuk Ministries, a Christian summer camp in Missouri. They're threatening to sue me for defamation because of something I said on my podcast with Congressman Ro Khanna. Here's what I said. I brought Elizabeth Phillips on my show, and she talked about how Kanakuk employees have been molesting thousands of kids for years and putting them under NDAs after settlements so they can never come out and talk about their sexual abuse and trauma.
This is why there's so many survivors who are silenced, because possibly they have taken settlements or their parents have taken settlements and signed NDAs. And this is why the elite get away with their demonic, disgusting activity, even within the body of Christ, even within these organizations, these church organizations. You have to be very careful. And I'm not saying that all churches that have preschools or daycares do these things, but those who are employees of these churches also need to pay attention, also need to be aware of Satan's devices. We cannot be ignorant of Satan's devices. The Bible tells us in Romans chapter 1, let me read it for y'all. Romans chapter 1, I want to start from verse 30. Slanders, God haters, um, insolent, arrogant, boastful. They invent new forms of evil. They disobey their parents. They are senseless, faithless, heartless, merciless. Although they knew God's righteous decree that those who do such things are worthy of death, they not only continue to do these things, but they also approve of those who practice them. Read chapter 1 of Romans in its context for you to understand it. This is talking about the wrath of God is coming upon people who continue to do this. Y'all think y'all in a revival. Y'all think y'all about to get raptured when y'all going to face the wrath of God. Keep playing in God's face. Keep playing in God's face and see what he do to you.
Kanakuk's lawyers are demanding I take down that portion of the interview, issue a public apology, and stop talking about this. They gave me 10 days. That deadline has passed. Here's my response. No, I don't negotiate with pedophiles or the people who defend them. I'm not taking anything down. I'm not apologizing, and I'm damn sure not going to stop talking about child sexual abuse at a Christian camp that continues to operate on the same grounds where horrific abuse took place.
Man.
Let me be crystal clear about the facts. Facts that Kanakuk's own lawyers admitted in their letter. 1. Pete Newman, a senior Kanakuk employee and camp director, sexually abused children at Kanakuk for multiple years in the early 2000s. He's now serving life sentences. 2. Between 20 and 30 civil lawsuits were filed against Kanakuk. 3. Multiple confidential settlement agreements were executed with victims. NDAs that prevented these kids from speaking publicly about what happened to them. Kanakuk can't prove the number is less than thousands. And given their own...
As a parent, this makes me just want to not keep kids in school. Honestly, I'm at that point where I don't know how it's going to work, but it just you just can't trust even people who claim to serve and worship and have faith and trust in the same God. Can't. Not saying all, but even there was a local church in Pittsburgh that I was told, the former church I used to be on staff with, heard it from the CFO's mouth herself about an incident on a van with a man who had they knew his behavior. They knew what he was a part of, but yet they continued to keep him until something happened and they had to let go. And I think there was a settlement and lawsuit and stuff involved. But this is how they silence the survivors, with settlements, because people are so money hungry. They love money more than they love Yahweh.
Mission of a cover up, the true number is unknowable. But here's what really pisses me the fuck off. Kanakuk is still operating a camp at the very location where countless children suffered horrific abuse. They're still running programs. They're still bringing kids to the exact same place. And now they want to silence me for talking about it. This isn't about protecting their reputation. This is about protecting children, and I will not.
That's the thing, because these pedophiles always want to make sure that their reputation is protected. These bishop pedophiles, these pastors, senior pastors, associate pastors, youth pastors, all of them who are in organizations that do this stuff or have a history of stuff that happened, victims still in their congregation who were sexually assaulted by people that used to work there, are still there, whatever the case may be. It's disgusting. But the body of Christ lacks so much discernment that we can't even see it. We're missing the signs.
Be silenced. My attorney has sent Kanakuk's lawyers a response. We've made it clear. If they want to sue me, bring it on. We welcome discovery. We welcome depositions of Kanakuk leadership about what they knew, when they knew it, and what they did or didn't do to protect children. We welcome full disclosure of every abuse allegation, every settlement, every internal investigation, and every financial record showing whether Kanakuk actually suffered any harm from my statement or whether this is just an attempt to intimidate people into silence.
Right.
Under Tennessee law, Kanakuk
Intimidation is a part of witchcraft, by the way.
will have to prove I'm lying. They'll have to prove actual malice, that I knew my statements were false, or that I had serious doubts about its truth. They can't do that because I relied on Elizabeth Phillips, whose brother was a victim. I relied on public court records, relied on widespread media coverage of Pete Newman's prosecution, and most importantly, they admit the core of what I said is true. Kanakuk employees sexually abused children. Victims were silenced by confidentiality agreements. That's not defamation, that's the truth.
And that's the truth they don't want to hear. They do not want to hear it. Y'all check out his channel. He has the interview with Elizabeth Phillip and Rohanna. He's a congressman for the Democrat Party, who's also one of the voice that's speaking out and trying to get accountability for these global Satanist elites that run our system. So, yeah, check it out, and hopefully we can save as many children as possible if we all collectively work together and bring accountability, demote people who don't have a heart for God's sheep, and get these wolves out of our gatherings. Until next time, shalom.